So I posted a video earlier this evening, and it was basically a short video of me running Rue in my car. I have run another measurement. A little while ago, and the setup that I had a little while ago was a front left speaker, front right speaker, rear left speaker, rear right speaker. I don't know how it was configured because the sound shop that I took it to didn't know what they were doing. So I'm not sure exactly how it was configured, but I do know that two speakers were on one channel and other two speakers were on the other channel. So with that setup, I ran an RTA, and that would be this one over here. So, I didn't do RTA, I did a measurement. So I ran this measurement. I'll show you what I use on my measurements. I took this from another channel, and this is what they recommend. If you do longer sweeps, you do get much better results, but for the best one you can use if you don't have a lot of time and you just want to just get something basic that won't take forever, is this here. Is 1M length and 4 repetitions is a good place to start. So, and then also this at 0. You don't want to go into the minus, but it all depends on your system. I use the heavy input clipping, but it all depends on your system. Then the rest of the stuff I don't really use, or I don't know how it works, so I'm not going to pretend I know how it works. So this I don't use, and let me just activate this. Okay, so now you can see a bit better. Okay, so I just do a sweep, 1M, 4 repetitions. If you want something better, do 4M, but it takes a long time. And basically what this does is does a sweep from 20 to 20,000. You can decrease it or increase it as you want, but I use 20 because that's the lowest you can go with human hearing. When I do upgrade my subwoofer, I will be going for a much lower frequency. I'll probably go all the way down to 1, just to get a more accurate response of my system, because below 20 Hz you can't hear it, you can feel it. So if I can get like what you're hearing now in the background with my headset, you hear that there's a lot of bass happening in the background, and that's actually all feeling. It's not sound that you're hearing. If you have a look at my music player, it's actually very low volume. Not very low volume, but it's low volume. So, and you can still hear that bass, and that's, you can't actually hear the music because it's soft, but you can hear the vibration, and this headset has lots of vibration from 0 all the way to I think 80 Hz. So most of what you're hearing on this recording is bass from my headset. So going from there, this is the settings that I used for my car. This is just so I can get like a baseline of what I'm getting with the car currently, and you just click check levels and it will just play a white static sound or make a static sound, and you can test whether your output is working or not. Earlier you'll see in my other video that I posted, my part 1 of this video, that that I didn't work. I couldn't get the frequency to play, so I had to check levels and just make sure everything was working. So it's very handy that you just check levels, make sure that is output, and then you can start, and then I'll run a sweep. This is a 1M sweep, so I'll play a sweep, and then it'll stop and then play again, sweep, and the sweep. So I'll close this and let's go to my all SPL. So these are the different tests I ran on the first run. Just experimenting, having fun, nothing serious. I don't have a calibrator microphone at all. I just have a cheap microphone that I bought off the internet. There's no calibration files, and this is what I got as a response from my system. Obviously this is not accurate because it's not calibrated, but it does give you a roundabout plus minus what you're getting. So this is all the runs that I did. I'll go through the runs and I'll also simplify the runs. So these are all the runs. These two here are sweeps used with the measurement settings. So that's a sweep with measurement. Let me turn those off, and then you can see it better. So those are off now. Let me turn off the other two, and that one. And then this here is RTA. So RTA is what most of the guys use that are into this field, and they have RTA microphones. I don't have an RTA microphone, so I'm not going to get the same response as I would with a frequency sweep. So this is frequency sweep. I did 2 frequency sweeps with 2 different styles. Both of these sweeps are, all of these sweeps here are maximum volume, and maximum volume with one with windows open, one with windows closed, and that's all windows on the car open and all windows on the car closed, at least passenger ones. So this one here and this one here. So this is a frequency sweep using windows open, and this is RTA, which is pink noise. So in measurement noise, okay, not here. It would be, you would open up RTA, pull that up, you do RTA, and there's a whole video on how you do this, but you do RTA, then you go to there, and you don't have any smoothing. Your FT length is 64, averages for forever, and then you stop it at 100 is the recommended. But the longer you go, the more accurate you get. And then your overlap is 93% and rectangular. So these are the settings that I use for RTA. And this setting here, the 64, you get if you go into your generator, your pink noise generator, full range, you'll get it at this sequence length. So this is 64. When you play this, and when you do your RTA, when you play this together, it matches, and you'll see that it will stabilize at 100. When it gets to 100, it'll stop. You'll stop at 100 averages, and it'll give you a reading. So I'm not going to be going into that, but these are the 2 readings that I got that you need to know about, at least for my car. So let me just zoom out a bit on this. Okay, so it's a bit zoomed out. Okay, so the RTA can go much slower than sweep, at least in this run that I did. So according to this, I was getting 113 decibels at 40 hertz. So I don't think that's bad for the system that I have. But then again, my microphone is not calibrated, so I don't know how accurate that is. Also, my system is not tuned at all. The gain is not tuned at all. The whole wiring is wrong. I took my car to a professional sound shop, and they said they'd tune everything for me, but honestly they did not do a good job at all. I don't know a lot about sound, but I know that I would have done a better tuning job. So I I'm busy in the process of setting up my car for better tuning, adding more equipment in, and one-upping the sound shop on what I can do. So this is my first rendition of it. This is the response that I get from the car with my adjusted settings. So their settings, I was not doing this at all. I was actually more down here, somewhere down here, because I was distorting, a heavy distortion at max volume. So I've tuned it a bit, and there's no more distortion. And this is the current readings. So I'm going to turn off RTA. So this is Windows open. Sorry, this is Windows closed, and this is Windows open. So you can see there's a dip in the sound there because of the Windows being open. So I'll turn that off, and then let's go into my actions, and then I will make this a bit easier to see. So this is a 1-to-1 averaging, and basically it just reads the average between, from let's say here to here, and it plots it, plus the average puts it down, then from here to here puts the average, puts it down. If I turn averaging, you'll see it's from there to there it's averaged, from there to there it's averaged, there to there it's averaged, etc. So according to your equalizer that you have, so I would use a 1/3 for most equalizers, and you just adjust your car audio according to this graph here. So 1/3 is what most DSPs would take, and 1/2 is what most head units take. And if you have a very stock basic head unit, you would want to tune to a 1/1 graph. And what you'll want to do is you'll take the center frequency over here. So this would be about 60. I think 60 is the only one that you can adjust normally. So you'll have your 60, and you can pull that down a little bit. And then over here at 1000, you'll push this up a little bit. In general, when you have your three settings such as bass, mids, and highs, it'll be adjusting. You see this line here? It'll be adjusting this bass most of the time. When you have your mids, it'll be adjusting this, and then your highs will be adjusting this. So if you're adjusting on a 3-bar system, you would take this, and you would bring your bass down a bit, and you would try to push your highs up a little bit to try to get this as straight as possible, and then you'll just rerun the measurement to try to get as flat as possible. But it's not going to be easy to pull that off, because depending on your system, you have your bass is obviously going to be your subwoofer if you have a subwoofer in your car, and you still have 4+ different speakers in your car that you're trying to push up with only 3 equalizers. What you want to do is actually get a DSP, and then you can have more adjustment. If you can't afford a DSP, you can get an equalizer, but equalizer is the same thing as your built-in equalizer. You can only adjust certain points, so you would be able to adjust maybe 1/2, and you have a few more frequencies that you can adjust and try to push up and try to flatten it to try to get a response that the studio that recorded your music would have heard. So right now in my car, I wouldn't be hearing what my music is actually supposed to sound like. I'll be hearing that all these are quite soft and the bass is really high with this system. So right now with this system, I would only be able to do a 1-to-1 tune, and then with the system that I'm installing, I can do a 1/3 tune. So I can go and take these things and I can adjust it. If I bring the, let me turn off this, so no smoothing, apply, bring back that. I'm just going to average the response just to duplicate it, and then I'm going to take this and just smooth it out so you can have a look at the response difference. Sorry. Turn this one off, and then put no smoothing, apply. So now when I bring this one back on, you'll see the response. You can see it's averaged. So this is the raw reading, and then this pink is the average according to 1 over 3 as it says down here. So you can see that it is averaged, relatively averaged. I'll zoom in a bit, you can see the averaging, how it's putting it into each other. So you can gauge it better. So that's the average of the system with amplified door speakers and a subwoofer. So because I'm busy redoing my sound system at the moment and rearranging everything and trying to fix problems that a sound shop created for me, I've had to basically unplug everything and just have my head unit playing through the front speakers, and that is the part 2 video. And I've shown in the part 1 video, what I did to achieve to get those results, but it's literally only with those results are only with front speakers, and it's actually, in my opinion, pretty good results for just a front speaker. So I've pulled those results up now, and let me just turn them off. Okay, let me turn that one off. So this is the results I got today when I tested this. I'm hoping to post this video tonight, so it would be the same time. So this red is my whole system as it was given to me by the sound shop, with a couple of my own adjustments just to try get rid of the distortion, because you couldn't go above 60% volume. So with my tune you can go to 100% volume with no distortion at all. So the red is my old sound system, which is 4 speakers randomly amplified. I don't know how they're amplified, but they were amplified, and a subwoofer. As you can see, the bass response is much better than this round here. So when I go and just average, let me just simplify it. So I'm going to actions again, and I just want to simplify all of this. And so if I go and I tune this with the head unit that I currently have in the car, I would be tuning it according to this graph. So this is the tunability that I have in the car currently, maybe even a bit less than this. So this is just front speakers, and this is front speakers, back speakers, and a subwoofer. And front speakers and back speakers are amplified here. I don't know how they're amplified, because it's just not run correctly. Then this line here, and also I've disconnected the whole system, so I can't even go back and check how they ran it, but I just know it wasn't right, because I had many audio issues. So this is my front speakers by themselves, and this is front, back, and subwoofer. So I don't think this is a bad response for only 2 channels playing versus 4 channels, well, 5 channels playing. So if I go back here and I make the smoothing a bit more rough, so this is what is tunable on my car. So currently with the front speakers, I can tune, I think it's a 60 Hertz, I can tune at 200, I can tune 1000, 6000, I think I can also do 3000, and 15,000. So I would go and I'd plop all of this and push them up to try and get it as flat as possible, because you want flatter the better, because that's what your producers and your studios, they normally try to have a flat response. Then I am busy in the process of installing a DSP, which will allow me to get 1 over 3 smoothing. So I'll be able to have more adjustments on my system. So this is just a basic comparison between the 2 tests that I did. I'm gonna turn this on again, And I also did another test. So if I do this one here, so this test is 1/1. Let me just make everything 1/3 again. So everything's 1/3 now. And let me just change the color. Oh, not change the color. Let me see. This 1/3, 1/3. Let me just take off all the smoothing quickly. Okay, there we go. So, not this one. So, this here, I'm going to turn off my amplifier system, and this is currently. So, currently, my system is I've actually currently set it to the pink one. So the pink is what I'm currently doing on my system. I'm just going to put a 1/1 smoothing so you can see it better. So pink is what I'm currently doing. I turned down a few sounds and I increased it a little bit. Just played with these guys a little bit. You'll see in the other video that I've done a couple of modifications to the sound. Nothing too crazy. I'll be resetting it tomorrow morning because I haven't listened to it actually. I don't know if it sounds better or not, but I just want to leave it as it was because it sounded decent. So I'm not going for perfect audio right now because my DSP is not in yet. So when I do my DSP and install it, I will go more in depth into this on how I'm going to tune it. But I literally have nothing professional. There's no professional equipment used here except the laptop maybe, but this is basically what I've gotten with cheap stuff just to get a roundabout idea of what my car is doing so I can go and tune it accordingly. So my goal is this line here. I'm going to be adjusting I'm going to be trying to adjust this in the near future to try to get as flat as possible with a low budget and running sweeps and sweeps and sweeps and trying to get this flat on a low budget. So cheap microphone, laptop, free software, the software root, and experimenting to try to get a better sound. And maybe one day I'll go into more professional RTA stuff, but for now this is good enough.